Yeah. I saw people get together and wish someone farewell as they went through Maid. And,
Oh,
like that, like even that, like, that's a hot button topic, but that's a community thing. And that's like, oh, okay, well, at least we get to say goodbye, like it or not,
uh-huh.
that's your choice. But you go to, like, for instance, I go downtown and you shoot Biff naked and people are in the comment section. Oh, well, downtown sucks. You go downtown and you shoot the soccer announcement. Oh, why do we need soccer? And it's all this negativity that gets built. It's like, why don't people want to see the positive in things, And then, the police do a takedown at 5 points and it's, that one seems negative. And, lucky for us, we had the 2 minutes beforehand.
Yep.
So
Yep,
we got,
absolutely.
but again, I still had to look at that video and then I had to look at the original video. Then I have to make the conscious decision. Do I take out that narrative? Because I could have narrated my own version, but is that
Yeah.
fair? I've always tried to stay neutral. And I think that's what I don't know if irritate is the right word. And I don't think trigger is the right word, but it gets people to the point where they think that I have to be on a side. I don't have to be on any side. I
Nope.
don't have to like Mark Carney. I don't have to like Pierre Poilievre.
That's
I
right.
may like a policy here, I may like a policy there. But why
Yeah.
do I have to set my name in stone saying, yes, and this is how it is, and this is and then you all of a sudden now you're towing that rope, right?
And I agree
We're all-
because the platform that you've created gives everybody the same opportunity on that platform. If you picked a side, you're going to lose half of the community for
100%.
whatever side they're on. And that's
And,
not
and,
what you want.
and you know what? I think I've already lost a portion of the community because I haven't picked a side. If that
Mhm.
makes any,
It does. It
you
makes
know,
sense. It makes
like
sense.
I went out to Ingersoll to do a golf tournament, and someone recognized me out in Ingersoll, 200
Yep.
kilometers away. I'm like, oh well, now I know that I have to go 300 kilometers away. But like that means you're doing good on that aspect. But then like there's other things that like we do stuff and people are just like so negative. Like there are other sites that my name gets dragged through the mud, my kids names get dragged through the mud, my everyone, and when I go to defend it, their simple reaction is to ban me from that area. And it's like, no, I'm sticking up
Oh,
for
I know.
myself.
I know what site you're talking about.
But that being said, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay. But, I'll tell you something. That is a bigger drug than some of the problems we have downtown.
Huh?
Because I went through withdrawals like, oh, I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know. But what am I missing? And when you spin the negativity and you stay in the negativity, you just breed negativity.
Exactly.
Our city is changing. Our city is not going to be a town city. It's going to be a city. You can
Mhm.
see the writing on the wall. So why
Embrace it.
not? Why not go out and experience cricket,
Yeah.
soccer?
Yeah.
You know, um, and this is a shout out to
Pickleball.
everyone who thinks that I
Pickleball.
don't.
Have you
Yep,
gone to any pickleball yet?
pickleball. No, I have
You
not
have
rocked a.
you have to
No,
go.
no,
There's a lot of people playing that. You gotta go check it
that-
out.
that's another one. There's a lot of people that say I don't cover local sports, and here. I'm going to read you my receipts. Bombers lacrosse, female lacrosse. I sponsor the under 15 Barry Baycats. I've
Yep.
sponsored the under 12 Barry Colts. I've gone out to Sharks tournament. I've covered the Colts. I've covered the Baycats. I have not done football because it's all basically school based, and I don't go to something unless I'm invited. So
Yeah, and for school boards, that's different. Yeah.
right, and I've covered the soccer announcement, which should that is something that I look forward to getting involved with. The Baycats, there's a lot of talk they're moving. That is something I'm looking to get involved with. I've gone out to do many a sport, and I've covered many sporting avenues, and dare I say, sports entertainment, Barry wrestling,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So
And you're there almost every week for that one.
once a month it's
Yeah.
going
once a
on,
month.
and we're there, and we provide I call it an alternative coverage because it's sometimes good to see something through a different set of eyes instead of
Exactly.
right.
And Montana's involved in that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's really good for Montana too.
Yeah. And as you can see, like a lot of the negativity I put aside because you know what, we've gone through the negativity, but we've had Tall Pines, we have Rockstock now, we have Gussapalooza, we're doing Kempenfest this year. You know, and we're doing the Filipino one, and I don't the festival, which is the first of its kind in the 705.
That's actually growing pretty fast, Michael. I've been following them. They've gotten some really pretty awesome sponsors coming onto that. I think that's gonna be a great event.
Yeah, I'm
looking
forward to it, and like we're doing so much with community partners on a whole that the negative that we get perceived, it's other people's insecurities that get transponded onto the page, you know. And we did, and I'll give you an example. We did a new restaurant opening, and we'll leave it at that, right? And if it was a McDonald's, oh yay, insert fat comment here, right? Because that's just how people are. We decided that based on, it's not even a decision, it was an invitation. Come on out and be there. We went and supported a new Indian restaurant. And I'll also say that there was another member of the media present too, who also did a write-up. Now, when I post it, I get comments like, we need to boycott all these establishments. And here's where I get frustrated. It's, why are you saying that behind your keyboard? Are you coming out to support that restaurant? What business do you owe? What taxes are you paying? Are you working the supply chain and all this? What have you done besides say boycott? Because if you're going to go and give me that elbows up crap, and I'm going to say that, then you're not shopping at Walmart anymore, which means that you're basically stuck with going to Loblaws. Oh, wait, you don't want to go to Loblaws because you don't like Weston because, you know, he's rich. And this is where I think a lot of people have to realize, work for it and earn it.
Yep.
Right?
At least those communities are trying.
Yes. You know,
they're bringing jobs too. They're bringing jobs.
And I'll say that, like, yes, you know, and this is the great debate I've had about Walmart. They've hired a lot of people, and people complain, oh, well, they only decided to pick this type of people, right? Those are the same type of people that were busting their ass off during COVID, while a lot of people decided that they didn't have to go to work.
Exactly.
I was one of the ones that, you know, made a choice that he had to go to work.
Oh, I had to go to work every single day. I didn't even get a week off. That's another conversation we can have. What COVID? When were we on break? Who was on break? I wasn't on break.
When you're driving 200 kilometers and the only bathrooms you have available to you are the ditches, you know, like that. There's an embarrassing moment on a side road that I had because I just couldn't help myself, but I had to, right? But you know, and that opened my eyes. And the other thing that I find too is a lot of people are quick to, anyone that's successful, they're very quick to knock them down the pegs, right? And I don't know if it's this thing where they feel like they're empowered because they've knocked down the big bad wolf, or what did I do? I started a page because there was a gap in the industry. And then that gap became bigger because of federal wording. Right? I was smart enough to keep that wording different than the rest of the people. And I hear people complaining that, oh, he's not a journalist. He's not this. He's not that. He's the amount of stuff I have to go through to keep where I'm at. May it be a spelling mistake. Sometimes we're also posting, when I get told you're posting wrong information, I'm posting 10 seconds after it happened. Other people are waiting 3 hours. Who's going to be closer to the truth? I'm posting it in the moment, and that's why the in the moments are very cut and dry. This is what it is.
And this is what people expect from the page. They go to your page for what's happening now.
The best quote I'll give you is the most recent quote. I love your page. I go there to get the updates, and I stay for the I stay for the car crashes. And I went, what do you mean the car crashes? Oh, your comment section. And I don't understand where a lot of these people get on board with some of the comments. Like I've gotten to the point where I don't even look at comments. As a page, I am not responsible for the comments. Exactly. That is on the individual. Now, a lot of people, and I've done this slippery slope thing. What is acceptable? I'm surprised the Italians aren't upset at the term flip-flop mafia, right? So do I ban mafia? Do I ban flip-flop? Because I literally had this conversation with someone, and the OPP said the suspect was wearing flip-flop. And I posted that, and then the comments went completely sideways.
But you
or
can't control the comments. You
no,
can't.
you
You can't
you can
control the comments.
you can by turning them off, and then
Well,
we're,
then you
we're
don't
gonna,
have nobody has a platform to share their
I'm the
opinions or
only
their
platforming really in
conversations.
Simcoe County next to the groups that allow people to say what they want within reason. We
Hmm.
do have checks and balances in
Yep.
there. You're not allowed to post links. You're not allowed to post gifs in certain cases. No vulgarity.
Yep.
And I do occasionally go through it. And you have to be a member of the page for at least 24 hours before you start
Or you can
randomly
post.
spewing stuff,
Yep.
or you get balanced. And then when people, I don't understand this, and Twitter's the king of this, and it's some of the celebrities that do this, and people think it's a badge of honor. I banned you, and they hold it up like a badge of honor, like, look, I got banned. Like, to me, I'm like, can't we just work it out? I sent an email to a group saying, hey, you're a group, these are your rules. Why is my family being attacked?
Yep. I remember
I
that. I
can,
know
re-
what page you're talking about.
I can report this. Or,
Hmm.
and their response was, well, we're going to do this, this, and this. I'm like, cool. And then one day I went to go look for the page, and I asked Jackie, hey, can you go find the page? Nope. And I asked everyone else, hey, can you find the page? Find the page. And no one could find the page. And it was like, oh,
I can't find the page either.
and
None of us.
you know what?
None of us.
You know what?
We've all been shipped
There,
away.
there are accredited journalists banned from that page.
You know
That
what
is
though,
not
to
my
be
fault.
honest, I don't even miss it because I wasn't even really on. I wasn't even really following up with them anyway, so it
But
doesn't matter.
that's just one of the many things. And then the other, like, again, when you're trying to talk about processing things, it's trying to turn it off, right? And my phone goes ding 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 ding, like I'm on a TTC bus on a milk run, and every stop's got 10 coming off and 10 coming on, right? We have this time right now, my phone's not really blown up. There's an Instagram notification, probably collaboration request or acceptance.
Yeah, but this is probably the first time in like a couple weeks that you've had time.
Yeah,
Because
no, I
this podcast could have been done earlier, but with your schedule, my schedule, it's like what's up, what's down these days.
well, and then when I shut it down, I almost forgot. Like, I almost forgot the vigil on Sunday. I almost forgot, right? Because I had shut everything down, and Montana worked later, and she said she was laying down, and I just kind of like, oh, and then I look and I'm like, oh, it's already started. And I'm like, do I go? And like, I was having a panic attack. Do I or don't I?
Yeah.
And Jackie's like, just go, like, we can drive by, and that one, I have to say, it was powerful because there's, not a single person was looking at me, but I got that feeling that maybe I shouldn't be here. And so I held kitten gloves. I went and I shot. I politely asked someone, can I shoot your candle? And, I took far range shots. I didn't want the close. And then I took a picture of the signing of the back of the photo for the kids. And then I left, and Jackie grabbed a pamphlet, a card,
Yeah.
and then I went home, and on the way home I started writing the story, and then we published it. I'd say about half hour, 40 minutes after, after some people, like some thoughts. But that in itself is coping. Like, for me, I go to I was at that house where a lot of problems happened, and I was there at a lot of time, and I saw a lot of stuff and stuff that no one else will ever see. And I got information that no one needs to know. And,
Yeah.
There were
And
people reaching
you
me.
have to sit with that. And you have to sit with that. And I think that's where the appreciation is lost. Like you have to
Right?
sit with that. Like even
Like,
some of the images I see come in through Messenger when people are trying to send you stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, please give me a warning that that's coming. Like, what is that? And you have to look at that every day, all day. I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, no. And, like, people, I don't know, maybe I'm a little more desensitized seeing stuff on the television and all that. But when you're in that moment, it's like, oh, and here they come. Here come the stretchers. Here comes this. Here comes that. And, that's not the aspect I'm shooting for. I know that, and, a lot of people are like, well, we want to know what happened inside. And, I will credit a former communications officer. I'll leave him nameless at this time.
Yeah.
I actually know several former ones. And, it's that certain things don't need to be told to people.
Yep.
Because I saw a comedy bit where they're saying, like, the news is just there to create a reaction from you.
Mm-hmm.
The news is there to either piss you off, or, and I was like, I didn't think of it that way. And I was like, yeah, he's kind of right. He's kind of right.
Yeah.
We post something where, or the police put out a release saying, this person decided to, go show everyone his manly parts at a beach. And, it's like,
Yeah,
do I
that was
really
an
want?
interesting one. I have
Yeah.
one better for you. I have one for you. I forgot to share this with you when I talked to you on the phone. So when I was visiting my grandchildren last week, they live in Scarborough. My daughter-in-law shared with me that while she was driving her car with the kids in it, her van down Markham Road, that two kids, she's suspecting they were around 7, 8 years old, two of them on those little scooter things, buck naked, no clothing at all, two of them riding up and down the road. And I said, what? And she said, yeah, like they were, but I said, where were their parents? Well, we don't know. Nobody's seen any parents, only these children. But in my head, I'm like, could you imagine the car accident that could have happened? Because I know if I saw some kids riding down on a bike naked and I caught that in the corner of my eye, I'm obviously going to do like a double take and be like, what the F is that?
And think of the headache that first responders have to deal with on that one.
Yeah. Like how, I'm just like, wow. Like,
But I think in some cases, and I'll say this about commenters, ignorance is bliss. Okay. But just because it emotionally affects you doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't have to be there. Like, I don't know how many times I have to school people on photography in Canada. You can't shoot into the house a person, right? But you can shoot them outside their house. But on the same part, you can't be naked at your front window, shaking your rumba. So
exactly.
So it's like, okay, like that's a weird one, but those are laws, Barrie Police just recently came out and said that, you know what, with all the complaints in your neck of the woods, there's no law written to say that if you're impaired by drugs in public, that they can do something. They can call 911, they can send a paramedic, but you have the right to refuse treatment. But if it was alcohol, because laws were written when prohibition was around, and those laws still lie in existence, it's fine. They've made the amendment to the Highway Traffic Act, but they haven't made the amendment to actual law. They're frustrated.
We're all frustrated.
Right. And then like, what do you do at that point? Like your hands are tied. It's like people, how many messages I've received about the old Ultramar at Eccles and Dunlop about that new we'll call it a civilization being built, right? And here's the problem. I have tried for 3 days to call Ultramar's PR to see who owns the property, or because their sign's still up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nope. It just disconnects. So I'm like, okay, you can't track down an owner, right? And the city can't do nothing because it's technically private property. So now the only thing that the owner can do is call the police and file a trespassing order. And now he's still on the hook for a cleanup.
Yep.
I just pray to God.
I know of the owner there, and he didn't have a good time when it was open. And it got closed quickly. And
I just hope there's no gas in those.
That could be why nobody's answering. I don't know. I hope there's no gas in there either, because that would be like really bad. They're like, they've taken over.
Yep. And you're going to get one side of the fence that says, what are you going to do with them? Well, you find them help. Like there's a lot of things in the end. And I've talked to a wise person throughout Ontario. And I'll say wise because it's not just politicians, it's first responders, it's business people.
It's a collective.
Yeah. That at the end of the day, what each individual city is doing is probably on the right path, but we're all at a different step and we're all experimenting with a step.
What's working and what's not. Exactly.
Right. So
and
maybe
with laws that can't be changed overnight.
Yes.
So,
yes.
There's only so many. It's like we get them in my driveway. I've come home multiple times, too many times to count, and they're having a party in my driveway. I've come home to them sleeping in my driveway, like set up sleeping bag, like they're having a good time. Yeah. I've had them come to my garage and ask for money and ask for food, and I'm not calling 911 because first of all, it's a waste of a call when those people.
You're not the third one caller in 6 hours.
No. I try to deal with it. Like I'll be honest. There's times that I'm frustrated and I'm like, come on, Like, enough, like, just get going. Like, come on, move
Yeah.
along. And they do. Like, I will give them that. When I ask them to leave, they're like, so sorry, my bad, whatever. And they move along. But there's also been other times where they help themselves to articles in my cars, and they're trying the side doors and they're trying to get in the garage. And so those times aren't as nice. And that's when I send my daughter out and she takes care of that shit. I'll tell you a funny time. So 9 out of 10 times this happens, obviously, I'm asking them, you have to move along. You got to go, right? You can't stay here. This is my property. And they move along. So a couple weeks ago, the city was over at Queen's Park and they were taking down trees. Okay. So I'm going to say, top of my head, 24 workers. Okay. All the big construction guys and stuff. And I pulled into my driveway and all the construction workers were on the side of my property eating lunch, because my property has like a slope of a hill. So just picture like 24 construction workers all sitting along my property and eating lunch. So when we pulled in, my daughter's like, so how are we going to get rid of them? And I said, oh, they can stay. They're working on their tan. They look great. They can stay. But it's just it's like an invite to people to be like, pull up a chair and have a good time here. I don't know.
But on the flip side, like a lot of times when I go to calls, and I will say this about downtown, it's not as bad as it was.
No.
You have your pockets, you have your moments. I'm sure there's more being done behind the scenes that we are not aware of. And people want, like, that is the other hard thing too, is like people want instant action.
They want perfect, and it's not possible.
Well,
they want perfect. It's not possible.
It's either clean up these things or, like, yes, this person from another country got into a car accident, we'll deport them. Well, what did they do? Was it their fault? And when people say deport, well, do we actually know who they are? They could be third generation Canadians by this point.
Exactly.
You don't know.
Exactly. And if they're a criminal, like, don't get me wrong, if they're a criminal and they shouldn't be here, then okay, I understand. Yeah. But like you're saying, 3 out of 4 times they're third generation Canadians. So if me or you get pulled over or we get into an accident, like, no one's going to say that about us, which isn't right. If we're at fault, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. No, and there's this like this buzz of negativity and hate that a lot of groups, and what I'll say is, you can be left wing, you can be right wing, you can be center, you can be under the table. I don't care, right? But they always find these. I call them brand ambassadors, right? One comes to mind is Mario the North, or Mario for the North, right? He will, but that man is very on point with some of the topics he talks about. But then he puts that spin on it, and it's like, why are you doing that? And then the next reel is, the left wing talking about all the great things Carney did and how Polyev is misrepresenting. Like the latest one I heard was this bridge. It's Polyev saying would you give 50% of your revenue? And it's like, no, it's the profits. And it's like, so everything's coming to Canada first. And it's like, okay, so why are all these guys on the sidelines saying stuff and working us up? I know,
because they like the reaction.
Dean Blundell. How does Dean Blundell
negativity wins, right? Like, if we put up something negative tonight, you're going to score big. If we put up something happy tonight, we might get 10 comments. That's the reality. That's just the reality.
And that's what sucks.
It does suck. But you know what, Michael? It's getting better. I'm noticing that you're getting more involved in the events now. I'm involved in the events now. We're starting to see community step up a little bit more for happy times, which is great, giving back to the community. So I appreciate that. We're always going to get the naysayers. We're always going to get the keyboard warriors. Like, what are they doing for the community? Nothing. So it's irrelevant. Doesn't even matter.
As you and I have had some talks with your rising star and all that, why am I so scary? And I say that like as an open scary. What is it? Do I intimidate the establishment? Do I intimidate people because I allow open views? People talk about their charter rights and all that, and here I am doing all these things that people are fighting for, but they're the first people that want to shut me down.
Yep.
And
it's really unfortunate. And it's unfortunate to those establishments. It's not unfortunate for us. I was a little blown away. I was upset for about 15 seconds. And then I said to myself, you know what? That's fine. We're going to move on without you because,
one door closes, another door opens,
right.
and, in that case, we have someone that is over the moon. As
Exactly.
you know,
And that's the universe, right? That's the universe saying, okay, so the people that think this isn't an awesome opportunity, guess what? You just open up a door for other people that are doing backflips down the sidewalk. And don't come to me at the gala and don't come to me at the finale saying, oh, we'd like to sign up now, because it's not going to happen.
no,
Right?
and I agree with you, and you know, I'll say this because like I'm working on some advertising deals with my vehicle and all that, and I have to go through a couple hoops. And you know, when you offer the exclusivity, people have all these, you know, like here's exclusivity at a killer rate. Oh, well, now you've added, how long is this car going to be on the road? You know, or where are you going and all that. And I understand like people's, you know, when you start dealing with corporations, they don't know me from a hole in the ground because they're used
Right.
to the bigger
Right.
stuff. But the more those questions get asked, the more I'm going, well, you know, is it, you know, we'll throw out a hypothetical number. It's, let's say it's $5,000. Well, now you're asking for 10 to 20,000. Oh, you want me on the road for 8 hours? Well, that's going to be, let's work out the fuel costs on today's price, you know, and okay.
Exactly.
Oh, and then there's maintenance costs and all this, right?
Yep.
Where, and it's a permanent fixture, or I will just drop that price and we won't, like say we won't do 5, we'll do 250, but now you're a sticker
Yep.
and I'll be hitting you up 250, you know, year after year after year, or 2,500, I should say, right? So, but these are the thing, and these are some of the hurdles I have faced with certain businesses, and there's other ones where, you know, like I had a company come in and we all know them because every time Hawkeye flies, their name comes down at the bottom. They came in, but we want to do this, and that's what we do. And so when she flies, boom, that name goes down, right? Right.
Yep.
And that
it has to work like that with everything. Like if we tried, I tried, you tried, we tried to make this a community round table